The night it all started, I wasn't even supposed to be home. I was meant to be at a conference 2 states over, shaking hands, making deals, pretending to care about corporate synergy. But a last-minute flight cancellation brought me back to my driveway at 11:45 p.m., exhausted and pissed off, just wanting to crawl into bed next to my wife. Instead, I found her car missing. Jessica was gone. I checked my phone, no messages, no missed calls. She wasn't working late. She hadn't mentioned any plans. Just that morning, she kissed me goodbye like any other day, told me she'd miss me, and even joked about eating cereal for dinner since she was too lazy to cook for one. I waited. 12:30 a.m., 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. At 1:42 a.m., I heard the garage door hum open. Headlights flooded the living room window. I stood in the shadows of the hallway as she walked in, heels in her hand, hair slightly messy, lips freshly glossed. She was tiptoeing like a damn teenager sneaking in after curfew. I could have confronted her right then. I could have demanded answers. But something about the way she moved, that casual arrogance, made me want to watch her a little longer. So I stepped back, silent, and let her think she got away with it. She tossed her purse onto the kitchen counter and headed straight for the fridge, grabbing a bottle of water. As she turned, the purse tipped over, spilling its contents. Lipstick, receipts, her phone, a keycard, a hotel keycard. She froze for half a second before scooping everything up too quickly, too forcefully, like a magician trying to make the evidence disappear before the audience caught on. I stepped forward. Late night, she jolted, spinning to face me, clutching the purse like a shield. Then, just as fast, she recovered, flashing me a lazy smile. Oh my God! You scared me. What are you doing home? She was good. Not great, but good. Flight got cancelled, I said, keeping my tone casual. Where were you? She hesitated for a fraction of a second. If I hadn't been looking for it, I might have missed it. Out with Ashley. You know, girls' night. Ashley had moved to Florida 6 months ago. I stared at her, feeling something dark and sharp coil inside me. But I wasn't ready to strike. Not yet. She kissed my cheek, the same lips that had probably been on someone else an hour ago, and walked past me. I need a shower, she said over her shoulder, disappearing down the hall. The moment I heard the water running, I grabbed her purse. My hands moved fast, searching. Lipstick, gum, wallet, keys, the receipt, a crumpled slip of paper from the Belmont Hotel. Room charge, 2 drinks. Timestamp, 1:37 a.m. I exhaled slowly, my fingers tightening around the flimsy evidence. My heart wasn't pounding. My blood wasn't boiling. I just felt cold, detached. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't paranoia. Jessica was cheating on me, and I was going to catch her in the act. The next morning, Jessica acted like nothing had happened. She hummed in the kitchen while making coffee, scrolling through her phone like she didn't just stumble in at nearly 2 in the morning with a hotel keycard and a receipt for 2 drinks. I sat across from her, stirring my coffee, watching. She was too relaxed, too at ease. She thought she got away with it. I wanted to wipe that smug little expression off her face. Instead, I smiled. So, how was girls' night? She barely looked up. Oh, you know, the usual. Drinks, gossip. Ashley almost got into a fight with some guy who wouldn't take a hint. Total mess. Ashley, the one who lived in Florida. I leaned back, nodding, pretending to buy every word. Sounds fun. Wish I could have been there. That made her pause just slightly. She glanced up, searching my face. But I was already standing, grabbing my keys. I'm heading out for a bit, I said. See you later. I didn't wait for a response. I walked out, climbed into my car, and pulled out my phone. And I made a call. My cousin Derek picked up on the second ring. Yo, aren't you supposed to be at some fancy business thing? Flight got cancelled. Damn. So what's up? I stared out the windshield, my grip tightening around my phone. Jessica was cheating. I knew it, but knowing wasn't enough. I needed proof. You still got that buddy in security? I asked. Derek went quiet for a moment. Yeah. Why? I exhaled. I need to know who checked into room 814 at the Belmont Hotel last night. A low whistle. OSH*T. For real. For real. Derek didn't ask any more questions. He knew me well enough to know this wasn't some paranoid jealousy trip. If I was calling him, it was serious. Give me a couple hours, he said. I'll see what I can do. 2 hours later, Derek called back. Buddy, I have bad news, he said, voice grim. But I also know how we can get revenge without ending up behind bars. I clenched my jaw. Tell me. He took a breath. Room 814 was booked by Nathan Carter. Nathan. My best friend. I swear I stopped breathing for a full 10 seconds. My best friend. Nathan Carter. The guy who stood next to me at my wedding, who toasted to my lifelong happiness with Jessica, who spent Christmases at our house, drinking my whiskey, laughing at my jokes. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my fingers ached. Say that name again. Nathan Carter, Derek repeated. Checked in last night at 10:12 p.m. Booked 1 room. Room service for 2. Checked out at 5:47 a.m. I felt something crack deep in my chest. Something raw and ugly. And Jessica? She wasn't on the room reservation. But my guy pulled the security footage. Derek hesitated. She got there around midnight. Left at 1:45 a.m. Alone. I pressed my forehead against the steering wheel, inhaling through my nose, exhaling slowly. Nathan. That smug, lying son of a B***TCH. Jessica had betrayed me, but Nathan? That was another level. Derek's voice dropped lower, like he knew I was about to explode. Look, man, I know you want to storm over there and beat his ass, but that's a fast way to get arrested. I didn't respond, because he was right. Right now, my hands itched to hit something. Someone. But I wasn't stupid. I wasn't about to let them ruin my life more than they already had. Derek sighed. I got an idea. Something that'll hurt worse than a fistfight. Something that'll leave a mark neither of them can erase. I lifted my head. What are you thinking? Ultimate payback, he said. And trust me, they won't see it coming. I exhaled slowly, my mind already shifting. I had been focused on catching them, proving it. But proof wasn't enough. I needed justice. I needed revenge. Tell me everything, I said. Derek didn't waste time. His voice was sharp, precise, like he'd been waiting for this moment his whole life. Nathan's an idiot, he said. A cocky, arrogant idiot. That's what makes this easy. I leaned back in my car seat, my pulse still hammering, but now for a different reason. Go on. He's been on dating apps, Derek said. I know this girl, Ava. She matched with him a few weeks ago, told her he was single, just focusing on himself, and looking for something casual. I nearly laughed. Single? Focusing on himself? He was focusing on my wife in a hotel room last night. Derek continued. I already hit Ava up. She agreed to help. She's gonna set up a date with him. Somewhere public. Somewhere we can be waiting. Clicked instantly. My anger sharpened into something colder, something calculated. You want Jessica to catch him, I said. Derek's grin was practically audible. Bingo! I exhaled, my thoughts racing. This was perfect. Nathan thought he was untouchable. A best friend who could steal my wife, lie to my face and walk away clean. But what if Jessica, the same woman he betrayed me for, found out he was already hunting for his next victim? She'd lose her mind. And Nathan? He'd lose everything. I sat up, gripping the steering wheel, my heart pounding in a different way now. Where's the date? Derek didn't hesitate. Saturday night, 8 o'clock, that rooftop bar Jessica loves. Oh, this was too good. Jessica would walk in expecting a romantic night with Nathan. Instead, she'd find him flirting with another woman, feeding her the same lies he probably told her. And I would be there, watching, waiting, ready to twist the knife. My hands stopped shaking. For the first time since I found that hotel receipt, I actually smiled. Saturday night arrived faster than I expected. I spent the day playing my part, smiling at Jessica, acting like nothing was wrong. She had no idea I knew. No idea that in just a few hours, her little fantasy with Nathan would shatter into a million pieces. By 7:30 p.m., she was in front of the mirror, fixing her makeup, humming softly. She had no clue she was about to walk into a nightmare. She turned to me, adjusting an earring. I'm meeting Ashley for drinks tonight. You okay with dinner on your own? I almost laughed. Ashley. Again. I wondered if she even remembered Ashley moved across the country. I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. Of course. Have fun. Jessica smiled, grabbed her purse, and kissed my cheek. The last kiss she'd ever give me as my wife. At 7:55, I arrived at the rooftop bar. Derek was already there, sitting at a corner table, nursing a beer. Ava's inside, he said. Nathan just walked in. He has no idea. I turned my head, scanning the room, and there he was, Nathan, my best friend, the man who betrayed me, sitting across from Ava, leaning in, flashing that same fake smile he probably used on Jessica. I wanted to walk over and put his head through the table, but that wasn't the plan. Jessica had to see it first. 8:02 p.m. The elevator doors dinged open. Jessica stepped out, her heels clicking against the floor. She was excited. You could see it in her eyes, in the way she smoothed down her dress. She thought she was walking into some secret, romantic moment with Nathan. Instead, she walked right into hell. She spotted him immediately, sitting at a table, with another woman. Jessica froze. For a split second, she just stood there, processing. Then her entire body went rigid. Her fingers clenched around her purse. Her mouth opened slightly, like she was trying to breathe but forgot how. Nathan hadn't noticed her yet. He was too busy laughing at whatever Ava just said, placing a hand on her arm like he hadn't just slept with my wife days ago. Jessica took a step forward. Then another. Then she snapped. Nathan? The entire bar went silent. Nathan's head jerked up so fast it was almost comical. His face drained of color. Jessica stormed forward, shaking, her eyes wild. What the hell is this? She gestured at Ava, who just sipped her drink, unfazed. Are you serious right now? Nathan scrambled, looking between her and Ava, stammering like an idiot. Jess, what are you doing here? Jessica laughed. A sharp, ugly sound. Oh, don't even try that. What am I doing here? What the hell are you doing here? On a date. I watched from the shadows, savoring every second. Nathan's eyes darted around the room, looking for an escape, but there wasn't one. Jess, you told me you loved me, she snapped, voice shaking. You told me we had something real. And now you're here, hitting on some random girl like I don't exist. Ava raised an eyebrow, playing her part perfectly. Wait, you're his girlfriend? She turned to Nathan, disgusted. You told me you were single. Nathan was screwed. Jessica's breathing was ragged. She was unraveling. Every fantasy she had built about her and Nathan, about their little forbidden love, was crumbling before her eyes. Nathan reached for her arm. Jess, let's talk about this outside. She slapped his hand away. Screw you, Nathan. I gave up everything for you. The bar gasped, and that's when I stepped forward. Jessica turned, startled. Her face went pale when she saw me, like she was looking at a ghost. I smiled. Oh, don't stop now, Jess. This is just getting good. Jessica looked like she had just been hit by a truck. Her mouth opened, then closed. She was speechless. Nathan, on the other hand, looked like he was about to throw up. His eyes darted between me and Jessica, panic written all over his face. I took my time, stepping closer, letting the weight of the moment sink in. What's wrong, Jess? I asked, my voice light, almost amused. You were saying something about giving up everything for Nathan? Jessica flinched, her eyes flicking to the exit, already looking for a way out. I wasn't going to let her have it. I leaned in slightly. Oh, come on. Don't get shy now. I'd love to hear what you sacrificed. Maybe our marriage. She swallowed hard. I don't know what you think you know. I laughed. Actually laughed. That set her off. This isn't funny, Daniel, she snapped. Oh, I think it is. I shot back. I think it's hilarious, actually. You sneak around behind my back, screw my best friend, and then come here tonight thinking you're about to have some perfect little date with your new man, only to find out you were just his latest side piece. Nathan's jaw tensed, but he didn't dare speak. Smart choice. Jessica, though, she still thought she could salvage this. Her expression shifted, The anger melted away, replaced by something softer, something calculated. Her voice lowered. Daniel, I can explain. I cut her off. Save it. I don't need your lies. I turned to Nathan, who looked like he wanted to disappear. You. How long? He hesitated. Wrong move. I took a step closer. How long? Nathan sighed, rubbing his face. A few months. Jessica's head snapped toward him, eyes wide. Nathan? I turned to her, laughing again. A few months, Jess. Not a mistake. Not a moment of weakness. A full-blown affair. Her whole body went stiff. She looked at Nathan, and for the first time, realization dawned on her face. Nathan didn't love her. He never did. Jessica's lip curled. Her rage suddenly redirected. You said you weren't seeing anyone else. Nathan exhaled, rubbing the back of his neck. Look, Jess, it wasn't serious. Oof. The bar exploded. Not serious? She shrieked. I ruined my marriage for you. Nathan looked genuinely exhausted. Jess, come on. You knew what this was. The second those words left his mouth, I knew he was dead. Jessica lunged at him, shoving his chest with both hands. His chair scraped against the floor as he stumbled back. People were staring. Phones were coming out. Nathan held up his hands. All right, relax. You're making a scene. Jessica laughed bitterly. A scene? A scene? You made me think we had something real while you were out dating other women? Ava, who had been quietly enjoying her drink through this absolute disaster, finally spoke. She leaned back, raising an eyebrow. Wow, you really thought you were special. Jessica spun toward her like a rabid dog. Shut up, you little... I stepped between them, stopping her from lunging at Ava. Oh no, you don't get to be mad at her. I turned my head slightly. Ava, thanks for your help. Drinks are on me. She grinned. Pleasure doing business. And with that, she slid out of her seat, completely unbothered. Jessica was seething. Her hands clenched into fists, but she was out of people to blame. She turned back to Nathan. You're a disgusting piece of... Nathan rolled his eyes. That broke her. She grabbed her drink and, without hesitation, threw it straight at his face. The entire bar gasped. Nathan jumped up, dripping wet, his face twisted in rage. Are you Angie insane? Jessica was breathing hard, her chest rising and falling, shaking with anger. She was unraveling. I smirked. Now that, I said, was worth the price of admission. Jessica turned on me now. Oh, screw you, Daniel. You think you're so damn smart, setting this all up? What, you think you're better than me? I tilted my head, considering. Well, I didn't cheat. So yeah, I'd say I'm a little better than you. Her face twisted in fury. You're such a pathetic little... I held up a hand. Save it, Jess. I'm done. I reached into my pocket, pulled out a small stack of papers, and tossed them onto the table. Jessica frowned. What is that? I smiled. Divorce papers. Her entire body locked up. She stared at them like they were a live grenade. You... I already signed, I said, my voice cool and steady. All that's left is your signature. Jessica looked at the papers, then at me, then at Nathan, who was still wiping his face, looking completely done with everything. She had lost. Everything she thought she had, gone in a single night. I turned, looking at Derek, who was grinning like a damn Cheshire cat. Drinks. Hell yeah, he said. Jessica was still frozen, her mouth opening and closing, her brain struggling to process how completely and utterly destroyed she was. But I wasn't waiting for her to catch up. I turned my back on her for the last time, and I walked away. I didn't look back. Not once. Jessica could stand there all night, reeling, furious, humiliated. She could stare at those divorce papers until the ink burned into her retinas. I didn't care anymore. Derek and I walked to the bar, the chaos behind us fading into background noise. The bartender had seen the whole thing. His lips twitched like he wanted to laugh but was holding it in. Whiskey, I said. Double. Derek clapped me on the back as we sat down. Man, that was beautiful. The drink toss, the meltdown, the way her whole world collapsed in real time. Chef's kiss. I exhaled, running a hand through my hair. The adrenaline was still pumping, but under it, relief. Months of suspicion, anger, betrayal. It was finally over. Then, just as the bartender slid our drinks over, a shadow moved behind us. Jessica. I didn't even flinch. I just picked up my glass and took a slow sip. You need something? She stepped closer. I could feel the rage rolling off her. You think this is funny? Derek snorted. I mean, yeah. Jessica ignored him, her eyes burning into me. You set me up. I finally turned my head, raising an eyebrow. Oh? You mean the way you set me up? Lying. Sneaking around. Screwing my best friend. I swirled the whiskey in my glass. How does it feel, Jess? Her jaw tightened. You're such an asshole. I smiled. And you're a liar and a cheater. So I guess we're even. She inhaled sharply, nostrils flaring. I hope you're happy, Daniel. I really do. Because you just ruined everything. I laughed. A real, genuine laugh. Jess, you ruined everything the moment you spread your legs for Nathan. Her face flashed red. She actually raised a hand, like she was about to slap me. But she must have realized at the last second how ridiculous she looked. She dropped it. Enjoy your little victory, she spat. You won't be so smug when the divorce takes half your money. Derek whistled low. Oh, classic gold digger move. I just smirked, because she didn't know. I reached into my jacket, pulled out another set of papers, and set them on the bar. Go ahead. Take a look. Jessica hesitated. Then, cautiously, she picked them up. Her eyes flicked over the words. Then she froze. Prenup. Signed 7 years ago. Ironclad. I watched as realization drained the color from her face. She flipped the page, hands shaking now, her breathing going shallow. No. Oh, yes, I said, leaning back in my chair. You get nothing. Her mouth opened, then shut. Panic. Pure panic. I took another sip of whiskey, savoring the moment. Guess you should have checked the fine print before you started cheating, huh? Jessica lost it. You can't do this to me, she shrieked, slamming the papers onto the bar. I gave you 7 years of my life, Daniel. I shrugged. And you threw them away for a cheap hotel room with Nathan. Her hands balled into fists. You're a monster. Derek was dying at this point, trying not to choke on his beer. Lady, you just spent the last few months screwing his best friend and lying about it. And he's the monster. Jessica turned on him like she was ready to tear his head off. I sighed, pushing back from the bar. All right, we're done here. I threw some cash down for the drinks and stood up, Derek following suit. Jessica was still standing there, shaking, defeated. She had nothing left to say. I turned one last time as we walked away. Sign the papers, Jess. It's over. And with that, I left her standing in the wreckage of her own making. I barely heard Jessica screaming behind me as I walked out of the bar. Her voice was distant, like an annoying car alarm that wouldn't shut up. Derek and I stepped onto the sidewalk, the cool night air hitting me like a reset button. I should have felt worse. 7 years of marriage, countless memories, all crumbling in a single night. But the truth? I felt free. Derek let out a long whistle. Damn, man, that was some cold-blooded execution. You didn't just end it. You burned the whole damn house down. I smirked, shaking my head. She deserved every second of it. We walked toward the parking lot. But before we could reach my car, my phone rang. Jessica. I held it up so Derek could see the name on the screen. He snorted. Oh, I gotta hear this. Put her on speaker. I did. The second I answered, Jessica's voice exploded through the speaker. You think you can just walk away from me like that? I sighed. Jess, we're done. Go home. No, we are not done, she screeched. You think you can just humiliate me and leave me with nothing? Actually, I do, I said calmly. Jessica let out a noise somewhere between a growl and a sob. You're not a good man, Daniel. I laughed. And you're not a good wife. Guess we're even. Silence. For the first time, she didn't have a comeback. Then, in a voice lower, almost dangerous, she said, You'll regret this. I rolled my eyes. Sure, Jess. Whatever you say. I hung up. Derek shook his head, grinning. She is not taking this well. I pocketed my phone. She'll sign the papers. She doesn't have a choice. But as I drove home that night, something about the way she said you'll regret this sat in my chest like a warning. Jessica wasn't just angry. She was plotting something. I barely got 4 hours of sleep that night. Not because I regretted anything. Hell no. If anything, I replayed Jessica's meltdown in my head like a highlight reel. Every moment of her humiliation. Every second of her rage. It was perfect. But that last thing she said, "You'll regret this," that stuck with me. At 7 a.m., my phone buzzed. I groaned, reaching for it. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something told me to pick up. "Hello." Silence. Then, a familiar voice. "Nathan. We need to talk." I sat up. "Oh, this should be good." He exhaled. "Look, man. I know I messed up." I laughed, cutting him off. "Messed up? You slept with my wife for months." "Nathan. You didn't mess up. You made a choice. Over and over again." I know. But listen, this isn't about that." He hesitated. "It's about Jessica." I frowned. "What about her?" Nathan sighed heavily. "She came to my apartment last night." My blood went ice cold. "What?" "She was losing it, man," he said. Like, full-on meltdown. Screaming, crying, throwing sh*t. Saying you ruined her life. Saying she wasn't gonna let you get away with it. I rubbed my temple. "And?" Nathan hesitated. "She said she had a way to make you pay." My jaw clenched. "Did she say how?" "No. Just that she had something planned. She kept talking about taking everything from you." I exhaled slowly. "She's bluffing. The prenup is airtight." "I don't think she meant money," Nathan muttered. "I think she meant something else." A sharp, uneasy feeling settled in my gut. Jessica was pissed, humiliated, cornered. And when people like her had nothing left to lose, they became dangerous. Nathan sighed again. "Look, man, I know I don't deserve anything from you, but just be careful." I scoffed. "Oh, so now you care?" "I'm serious, Daniel." His voice was low. "Jessica's not thinking straight. She's out for blood." I gritted my teeth. "Let her try." I hung up. By noon, Jessica made her move. I was at work, trying to focus, when my assistant, Kelly, knocked on my office door. Daniel? There's someone here to see you." I glanced up. "Who?" Kelly shifted uncomfortably. "A police officer." My stomach dropped. "Send them in," I said, forcing my voice to stay even. Seconds later, a uniformed officer stepped in, his face unreadable. "Mr. Carter?" I nodded slowly. "That's me." He took a breath. "We received a report about you last night." A serious report. I already knew. "Jessica." I leaned back in my chair, exhaling through my nose. "What kind of report?" The officer's gaze was sharp. "Your wife is claiming you assaulted her." For a moment I just stared. Then very slowly I laughed. Jessica wasn't just playing dirty. She was going for the kill. The laugh came out of me before I could stop it. "Assault?" Jessica was out of her damn mind. The officer didn't flinch. He just watched me, waiting for a reaction. I leaned forward, resting my arms on the desk, forcing my voice to stay calm. "Let me guess. She claims it happened last night." He nodded. "She filed the report late. Said she was too afraid to come forward immediately." I smirked. Too afraid? Jessica had been screaming in my face just hours ago, threatening me in front of half the damn bar. This was a move. A desperate, last-ditch effort to hurt me after she had already lost. I exhaled slowly. "Look, officer, I don't know what exactly she told you, but I didn't lay a hand on her. There were dozens of witnesses last night. She was the one throwing drinks, screaming, losing her mind. Check the security footage." The officer gave a slow nod, like he had already considered that. "We will. But in the meantime, we need you to come down to the station." I narrowed my eyes. "You're arresting me?" "No," he said carefully. "Not yet. But we need your statement." I clenched my jaw. I could refuse. Call a lawyer. Make them drag me out of here. But that would make me look guilty. Instead, I grabbed my jacket. "Fine. Let's go." 2 hours. That's how long I sat in the station, giving my statement, watching the officers exchange glances as they pieced together Jessica's lies. By the time they finally let me go, one thing was clear. She didn't have a case. No bruises, no medical report, no evidence. And when they checked the bar's security footage, they saw exactly what I told them. Jessica was the aggressor. She was the one screaming, throwing drinks, shoving Nathan. I walked out of that station without a single charge. But I wasn't relieved. I was furious, because Jessica hadn't been trying to win. She knew she couldn't. She just wanted to make my life hell. And that meant war. I drove straight to Derek's place. He opened the door, took one look at my face, and whistled. Damn, that bad. She tried to get me arrested. Derek's face darkened. That psycho? She's not done, I said, pushing past him into the apartment. She's desperate, and she's not gonna stop until she feels like she's won. Derek ran a hand through his hair. So what do we do? I turned to him, my mind racing. We stop playing defense, I said. We finish this. Derek's eyes gleamed. Now we're talking. I dropped onto his couch, running a hand over my face. She's already lost, but she refuses to accept it. She's throwing everything she can at me just to see what sticks. First, she tried to play the victim. When that didn't work, she tried to get me arrested. And when that failed, she'll come up with something even worse. Derek nodded. She's flailing. But flailing people are dangerous. Exactly. Jessica wasn't just trying to hurt me. She wanted to ruin me. If I didn't get ahead of her, she'd keep coming, dragging this out, causing damage wherever she could. I needed to end this. Derek leaned back, thinking, all right, you want to go nuclear? Let's go nuclear. I raised an eyebrow. What are you thinking? He grinned. I've got a little gift for you. Something I was saving in case she pulled another stunt. Derek pulled out his phone and scrolled for a second before handing it to me. Check this out. I glanced at the screen and froze. It was a video. Jessica, in the hotel room, with Nathan. Derek smirked. Told you my buddy in security had access to the footage. The video wasn't X-rated, but it didn't need to be. It showed everything. Jessica and Nathan stumbling into the room, kissing, laughing, tearing at each other's clothes. It was undeniable. Hard evidence of her affair. A smoking gun. I looked up at Derek, stunned. You've had this the whole time? Figured you might need it. He shrugged. And hey, guess what else? That hotel? Owned by a friend of mine. This footage is 100% legal. My mind raced. I could use this in the divorce. I could shove it in Jessica's face and watch her entire world crumble. Or, I grinned slowly. Let's make her famous. Derek's grin matched mine. Now that's the spirit. I didn't post it myself. That would be too obvious. Instead, Derek sent it to a burner account, a fresh social media profile with zero connections to either of us. Then he uploaded the video with a simple caption. When your loyal wife is actually screwing your best friend behind your back. Good luck explaining this one, Jessica. And then we waited. Took 20 minutes. One of Jessica's friends saw it. Then another. Then another. And then boom. It exploded. Her name wasn't in the post, but people recognized her. The comments started flying. Wait. Isn't that Jessica? Oh my God. She's married. Who's the guy? Holy sh**t. Is that Nathan? Jessica's entire social circle saw it. Her family saw it. Within an hour, she was exposed. And then my phone rang. Jessica. I let it go to voicemail. Then she called again. And again. And again. I leaned back, watching my phone light up, smirking. Now, she was the one losing everything. By the time I finally answered, Jessica was hysterical. You sick freak. Take that video down right now. I held the phone away from my ear, letting her scream. When she finally stopped for air, I chuckled. Oh, I'm sorry, Jessica. You don't like people knowing the truth. Her breathing was ragged. Daniel, please. My parents saw it. My boss saw it. Everyone is texting me. Good, I said flatly. She sobbed. A real gut-wrenching sound. Not fake, not manipulative. Real. Because for the first time in her life, Jessica couldn't talk her way out of something. She had spent months sneaking around, lying, treating me like an idiot, And now, the whole world knew what kind of person she really was. "I'll do anything," she choked out. "Please, Daniel. Please." I leaned back, enjoying the moment. "Anything? Yes. I'll sign the papers. I won't fight you on anything. Just, please take it down." I exhaled slowly, pretending to think. Then I smirked. "Nah." Jessica screamed. A full-blown, rage-filled meltdown. "You're evil. You're a monster. You—" I hung up. Derek howled with laughter. "Holy sh*T. That was beautiful." I grinned, tossing my phone onto the table. She wanted war. She got war. And just like that, it was over. Jessica signed the divorce papers that night. She didn't try to fight for money, didn't try to take the house. She just wanted to disappear. Nathan? He lost everything too. His girlfriend dumped him, his friends cut him off, his reputation was in shambles. As for me, I walked away clean. No more lies, no more betrayal, just freedom. And damn, felt good.